Good morning to those who are gathered here in the sanctuary and to all those who are joining online today. We begin this morning with a choral opening from the UU Seville Choir.
We are here together in this holy moment, and we're grateful for the winding road that brought us to this place. We are here together in this holy moment, and we're grateful for the winding road that brought us to this place.
Oh, thank you. That was amazing. Thank you so much to the UU Seville Choir. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Charlottesville. My name is Angela Orbaugh, and my pronouns are she and her. I am pleased to be leading worship this morning with Reverend Tim Timerson, Reverend Leah Derlin-Jones, Music Director Scott DeVoe, accompanist Alex Suh, and the UU Seville Choir. We have a full cast today. This sanctuary was built over 70 years ago on the homeland of the Monacan people and was once cared for by enslaved people from Africa and their descendants. We honor all who have dwelt here and all in our congregation whose lives led to this moment of our gathering. I now invite us to take a moment to greet others. Those online, you may unmute, and those here in the sanctuary or the social hall are welcome to greet your neighbors, especially those you may not know.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you all.
We offer a special welcome to newcomers and invite you to join us for fellowship after the service in the social hall. Now, please feel free to use one of the red coffee mugs. UU Seville members and friends, you are reminded to offer a warm welcome to anyone with a red mug. There's also a live stream of the service in the social hall. Now, everyone is invited here in the sanctuary. The social hall can be a good option if you'd like a roomier space. Many thanks to all the folks helping us share worship here and online today, our greeters, our ushers, the hospitality teams, and special thanks to our AV Tech team led by Rachel Buckland. And now we have greetings from board member John Griffith.
Hello, good morning. I'm John Griffith. My pronouns are he's, his, him, and I am delighted to welcome you on behalf of the board. I wanted to talk a little bit about the UU Parent Support Group, also known as OOPS. And we've been meeting on the second Sunday of each month, which would be next Sunday, after the service, like 12:30 to 1:30. There's childcare available. The older kids are in their classes at that time. Last year, we had some structured courses for parenting that we went through, and we're thinking about doing some of that this year as well. And it's also just a time to, share stories and experiences and all of that. So I hope you will think about doing that if you are a parent. And enjoy your Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you, John. So here are our announcements for today. There will be an election night party and spaghetti dinner this Tuesday night, November 5th, beginning at 6 p.m. No need to bring anything except yourself, maybe some family, maybe some kids, but food and drink will be provided and child supervision will be provided as well. You don't even have to stay long. You can stay for an hour or you can stay long and stay all evening. And please remember to vote. Now, save November 16th and 17th on your calendars for the UU CVille Climate Justice Revival. And we actually have a quick video from the co-lead of our Ministry for Earth that we can tell you a little bit more about this climate justice revival.
Hi everyone, I am here to encourage you to save November 16th and 17th to attend UU CVille's Climate Justice Revival. The Climate Justice Revival is an all ages, all congregation event to envision the future where we want to live. This event will involve interactive small group based workshops on Saturday afternoon and worship on Sunday, where we will weave together the threads of climate and justice. The UU Climate Revival will allow us to imagine what action is possible and give us the blueprint to guide our efforts together. Please come and see me at the Ministry for Earth table after church and register, and please come and spread the word.
Thank you, Kim. So registration is free and you can see Kim today after the service. UU CVille will be hosting guests from Pacham from November 16th through November 30th, and we need everyone's help. There are tasks, both large and small, from preparing and serving food to house setup and cleanup as well. Family with children are certainly welcome to pitch in, the more the merrier. You can sign up on the link, which can be found in the Friday newsletter and on the church website as well. Next up, you can compost your pumpkin. So the UU CVille Ministry for Earth will be accepting pumpkins today in the Edgewood lot. So not the Summit House lot, but the Edgewood lot. You can drop off your pumpkins and the pumpkins will be taken then to McIntyre Recycling for composting. There are a number of new adult faith development opportunities, including a learning circle about the conflict in the Middle East with Reverend Tim, a class on lobbying and advocacy with Ellie Severud, and much more. Definitely check out the Friday email newsletter for more information. There will be a memorial service for longtime UU CVille member Al Reynolds next Sunday at 3 p.m. here in the sanctuary and online with a reception to follow. An announcement that's not on the slide is our new art show starts today. And this is called Season of Light. This is an all-church art show. So if there are participants here who have contributed something to the art show, please stand up so that we can recognize you. Thank you. This art show will be up for 2 months. All are invited for refreshments and conversation in the social hall following the service. Now, parents will be picking up children from children's worship today at 12:15 after the service in Lower Hall 2. So not the parlor as usual, but Lower Hall 2 today at 12:15.
Great. Good morning, everyone. Great to see you this morning. Our call to worship this morning, Angela and I would like to offer you these words from Reverend Joan Javier Duval. Here is where you can lay it down. Lay down all that you have carried, the weight of the world that has rounded your back, leaving you aching and exhausted.
Here is where healing begins, where burdens are set down and alongside one another's, their magnitude does not seem as great.
Here is where the door is thrown open and the light can lift away the shadows, and what was hidden can now be seen.
Here is where you can rest, where nothing is expected, but that you bring all of who you are into the presence of the holy and of this loving community. Come,
let
us worship together. I now invite Skylar and Autumn Wysek to light our flaming chalice and the lamps that travel to our children's religious education meeting rooms. Will everyone please join me in saying our chalice lighting words? We gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning in celebration of the life we share together. You can also join me in doing the hand motions that we teach our children. Our handbook is the match, our hand is the matchbook, our finger is the match. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of open minds. This is the church of helping hands. This is the church of loving hearts.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to invite the young and the young at heart to come up on our red magic carpet for our conversation together this morning. So come on up. Young and young at heart. Reverend Tim and I always like it when there's some grown-ups here on the carpet with us.
Absolutely.
Make sure to make lots of room so that friends who are coming up have a space that they can find. So those of you, Niels and Karina, can you guys scoot up a little bit so there's room for the other friends to come forward? And Roman, you can scoot up a little bit. And Ethan. Mom's coming. Good morning, everybody.
Morning. Good morning.
It's lovely to see all of you today, and so lovely for all of us to be together. So I have a question for everybody. So take a minute and see what comes up for you when I ask this question. What is it feeling like to be in your body right now? So just take a minute. What is it feeling like to be in your body right now? Apollo, what's it feeling like? Cold? Yeah, you're feeling a little cold. Yeah. Anybody else feeling cold? Your hands, yeah. What else is it feeling like to be in your body? Paxton, what's it feeling like to be in your body today?
Nothing.
Warm, you're warm. Anybody feeling warm? The rest of you must be just right.
Nice.
So Niels, what's it feeling like to be in your body this morning? You feel like you're existing. Yeah. Yeah, Trey.
Feel like every part of my body.
Every part of your body hurts.
Mm.
Mm.
You feel better soon.
And we all hope you feel better soon. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody else on the red magic carpet who wants to tell us what it's feeling like to be in your body this morning? Yeah. Good, because you were doing art earlier today. Yeah, doing something with your body that helps you feel good in your body. Anybody else want to tell us what it's feeling like to be in your body this morning? Yeah. You're comfortable? Yeah.
Nice.
Alive.
Alive.
Yeah, Linda. A knot in your stomach. Yeah. Ellie.
Anxious.
Anxious. Hopeful. Oh, so all kinds of different feelings. There was somebody up there?
Yeah, it was
Yeah, somebody up there had their hand up. Rachel. Oh, you feel stinky. All right. Well, we're gonna just leave that alone. But I want to come back to the people who said that they were feeling a knot in their stomach or anxious. And I want to ask those of you on the red magic carpet this morning, have you noticed that the grown-ups around you are feeling anxious or worried? You have anxiety, but you're not anxious right now? Yeah, that's good to know about yourself. Well, Reverend Tim and I were wondering about how it was feeling to be you and what it's like to notice what other people are feeling and just to be aware of that, to be mindful of that, and to maybe explore together if you're feeling that knot in your stomach or if you're feeling anxious, how you can help yourself feel more at ease. So some of you said, I feel good. I feel calm. So maybe you have wisdom you want to share with us about how you are in that place. But I'm wondering about those of you here up front. I'm wondering about your ways that you help yourself feel calm. Do you have an idea, Roman? What's a way that you feel peaceful or calm in your heart or your body? Mom, do you want to help me understand that? I'm not sure what that was. I'm wondering if
Oh, circus.
Oh, the circus.
circus. Oh, do you like the circus, Roman?
Like
The Amazing Digital Circus. There's some language communication going on up here that is wonderful to see and helps us be more in the loop. I'm also wondering, Roman, if being next to your mom and your brother helps you feel calm sometimes. You like snuggling with mom? I see your brother snuggling with mom right now. Yeah. Anybody here like to snuggle with somebody that they love? Does that help you feel calm? Yeah. Yeah. Not yet. Well, what are some other ways that you feel calm? What do you think, Lillian?
just being in my bed at home.
You like being in your bed at home? Yeah, a comfy, cozy place. Yeah. Apollo, what about you?
Sleep.
Sleep can definitely help me feel calm. How about you, Reverend Tim? You like to sleep?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What about you, Trey? Playing with your toys. Yeah. Anybody else here like to play with your toys? Yeah. Alex, what about you? Playing video games. Yeah, I think you have a lot of people who would agree playing video games can help you feel calm.
Yes.
Niels.
Stand in front of it.
Oh, so you like to stand in front of the air conditioner and feel the cool air. Yeah, that could be a very calming thing. Yeah.
Nice.
We have about time for one more. Paxton, what do you like to do to feel calm? Sitting on the couch.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Any grown-ups who want to share? What do you like to do to feel calm? Somebody who hasn't had a chance yet. Julia. Being outside. Yeah. John. Riding your motorcycle. Yeah. Ruth. Walking in the woods.
Nice.
Yeah. Amy. Talking to friends. Jason.
Listening to a book in the hammock.
Listening to a book in the hammock. Oh, I'm feeling calmer already.
Nice.
Karen.
Petting the cat.
Petting your
Breathing.
cats and
Nice.
deep breathing. Yeah, these are all wonderful ideas. Wayne. Meditating.
Meditating.
Yeah.
Yes.
Frank.
Singing in the choir.
Singing in the
Nice.
choir. Oh, yeah. So clearly there are lots of different ways that we can help ourselves feel calmer or feel more peaceful. Are you guys curious about what Reverend Tim might like to do?
Well, I like to listen to music. I like to play with my toys, which oftentimes have something to do with a ping pong ball and a paddle, which I actually meant to bring in today. But I got to tell you, one thing that really comes to mind, not singing in the choir because I don't have a good voice, but just being here in our congregation, that makes me feel really peaceful.
I think that's probably true for a lot of us. So what Reverend Tim and I want to remind all of us is that in the coming days, when we're feeling anxious or stressed or worried or a knot in our stomach or anxious, that there are many, many ways that we can reconnect with ourselves. And that if one way that you try isn't working, try another.
Mhm.
There are many, many ways, and we are all connected to one another, even when we're not physically in each other's presence. So know that we are holding each other through times of anxiousness and helping each other find ways to be at peace. So thank you all for listening so well. Thank you all for engaging in our conversation. Our young people are going to go downstairs where we're going to do another thing that can help us. We're going to be in action making meal packets for those in need as a way to help bring peace. So let's sing our children to the RE classes.
We are an interconnected community that cares for one another. Part of how we embody this care is by making time each week to share the joys and sorrows we hold in our hearts. Here are the joys and sorrows that were submitted prior to this morning's service. Now, everyone is invited to come forward now as you wish and place a glass stone in a communal bowl of water as a symbolic act of each being held by the larger love that holds us all. All are welcome to participate, including those who are new to our congregation. Those online, you may type your joys and sorrows into the chat. Ellen Longmore from our pastoral care team will come forward and help hold the space. Ellen will also be available for a few minutes after the service in the back corner of the sanctuary if you are in need of pastoral support or just want someone to listen. Those online, you can contact the pastoral care team at pastoral@uucharlottesville.org. This community offers its love and support to what is closest to our hearts. Another way we show our care for one another is in sharing our financial gifts with our community and our congregation. Now, our social action collection for the month of November is for Lily Pads Housing. Jen Coim has founded Lily Pads. Jen, are you here? Great. Jen is coming up to tell us a little bit about Lily Pads today.
Hi, everyone. Pardon my voice. My family has the crud this weekend, but is it okay? Okay. I'm on antibiotics, but I didn't want to get anybody sick. Thank you for having me today. I'm the founder of Lily Pads Housing. We started because my daughter Lily was born with a really rare, serious heart defect in 2015 that UVA couldn't treat. And we had to go up to Boston for open heart surgery. And it was really hard to find medical housing in Boston. And thankfully, we were paired with an organization up there that places families in volunteer host homes. And within about a day of getting our placement with our hosts, we'd talk to them. They'd let us know we could stay for as long as we needed to. And we felt so grateful. And our stay was as good as it could be for open heart surgery with them, because not only was it a place to stay, but it was emotional support. They checked on us, they cooked for us. They were just such a wonderful, caring family that helped us through a really difficult time. And when we came back to Charlottesville and had to continue a lot of care at UVA, we met a lot of families there who said that they were really struggling to find housing here, that there just wasn't enough. We saw people sleeping in the parking garage, and we just knew that we needed to do something. So we contacted the organization in Boston and asked them if they would train our little group of dedicated volunteers who became board members. And we opened our doors in 2019, placing families in host homes. And since then, we've hosted over 1,400 nights of free lodging for these families. And kind of during the pandemic, we also realized that families need a lot more than just housing. They need food, transportation, sibling care, child care. And so we've also started kind of a holistic support program for families where we provide activities for siblings and meal cards and grocery cards. And we're really excited to be starting a Lily Pads care cart that will be rolling through the wings of the Children's Hospital that will be giving families basic necessities and self-care items, because caregivers really struggle in situations like that, to help them. And so I'm here to thank you guys for your support, but to also let you know that we're always looking for additional host homes. The need is still there. UVA is growing like crazy, and we still have families that we have to turn away because we don't have host places for them. We would love for you to volunteer with us. We would love for you to help donate items to our care cart to be a part of that support for families. You can find out all of that on our website, lilypadshousing.org. Our operations manager has also made a wonderful video that I think is going to be linked on the website that showcases some of the amazing journeys that some of our families have gone through. So check that out too, because they're just amazing. And we just want to thank you for your ongoing support of Lily Pads. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Jen. Rachel, will you please show us the social action slide for giving for those who would like to make a donation to Lily Pads Housing right now? In addition to giving online, if you would like to give today with cash or check, please use the social action collection envelopes here in the sanctuary and place your offering in the collection plate. Now, please make your checks out to UU Congregation of Charlottesville and write Social Action Collection in the memo line. Along with our social action collection, we invite everyone to financially support the ministries and mission of this community. Through your pledges and the weekly Sunday morning offering, together our financial gifts support UU Seaville and enable us to put our love into action. This is our shared ministry. During the music that follows, you can offer your financial support by using the text address or going to our website. You may place cash or checks in the collection plates as they are passed. Now let's dedicate all of the many gifts we share to one another by saying, "We accept your gifts with gratitude. May we use them wisely for the highest good." Our reading is an excerpt from Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson. As an introduction, Brian Stevenson is an attorney who has spent much of his career defending clients unjustly sentenced to the death penalty. Stevenson founded the Equal Justice Initiative and the Legacy Project, both based in Montgomery, Alabama. One night, I was in my office talking on the phone to a client hours before his execution. As he expressed his gratitude for my attempts to save his life, I thought about all of his struggles and all of the terrible things he had been through and how his disabilities had broken him. There was no excuse for him to have shot someone, but it didn't make sense to kill him. I began to get angry about it. Why do we want to kill all the broken people? When I hung up the phone that night, I had a wet face and a broken heart. The lack of compassion I witnessed every day had finally exhausted me. As I sat there, I thought myself a fool for having tried to fix situations that were so fatally broken. It's time to stop. I can't do this anymore. For the first time, I realized that my life was just as full of brokenness. I worked in a broken system of justice. My clients were broken by mental illness, poverty, racism. They were torn apart by disease, drugs, alcohol, pride, fear, and anger. In their broken state, they were judged and condemned by people whose commitment to fairness had been broken by cynicism, hopelessness, and prejudice. It took me a while to sort it all out, but I realized something that night. I understood that I don't do what I do because it's required or necessary or important. I do what I do because I'm broken too. We are all broken by something. We have all hurt someone and have been hurt. We all share the condition of brokenness, even if our brokenness is not equivalent. I guess I'd always known, but never fully considered that being broken is what makes us human. Sometimes we're fractured by the choices we make. Sometimes we're shattered by the things we could never have chosen. Our brokenness is the source of our common humanity, the basis of our shared search for comfort, meaning, and healing. Our shared vulnerability and imperfection nurtures and sustains our capacity for compassion. We have a choice. We can embrace our humanness, which means embracing our broken natures and the compassion that remains our best hope for healing. Or we can deny our brokenness, forswear compassion, and as a result, deny our own humanity. Simply punishing the broken, walking away from them, or hiding them from sight only ensures that they remain broken and that we do too. There's no wholeness outside of our reciprocal humanity. Please remain seated and join in singing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life.
Thank you, Angela, for sharing that reading with us. How many of you have read Just Mercy, seen the movie, heard Brian Stevenson speak? He spoke here in Charlottesville just a few years ago at the John Paul Jones Arena. So let me just begin by saying how really good it is to be with you all today. It's always a joy and a privilege to share Sunday morning services with you, but today feels especially meaningful and important as we find ourselves on the cusp of what is perhaps the most important election in our nation's history. And if you haven't voted yet, vote, please. And let me just say a word of thanks to all of you who wrote postcards, made phone calls, sent texts as part of our UUCville Get Out the Vote effort. My understanding is that we as a congregation wrote and sent out over 1,500 postcards. A big shout out to the inexhaustible Ellie Siverud over there, as well as Flame and Raven. I don't know that they're here today, who also did some postcard writing and got people to write cards. And I'm just grateful to all of you who took the time to do that and to put your UU faith into action. Well, I, for one, and from our conversation with the kids earlier, I'm not alone. I'm feeling kind of anxious about this Tuesday and the coming days, what they will bring. And although much of my anxiety is focused on the results of the election, I think it's symptomatic of something deeper that goes beyond one election. Over the last decade or so and right up to today, our world has been pretty broken. We've experienced a lot of hardship and pain, fear and uncertainty, anger and division. I could easily spend the rest of my sermon this morning detailing all of our shared brokenness, but let me simply begin by saying that it is my own struggles with anxiety that make being here with you today so very important. When my heart is heavy and my life feels broken into pieces, there is nothing more comforting and healing for me than the blessings, the shelter, and the peace of Unitarian Universalism and this beloved community. Perhaps, like me, you are one of the many who find themselves anxious, uncertain, afraid, broken. Maybe you've been hurt recently or in the past by an angry outburst, a harsh word, or a negative judgment. Maybe your heart is heavy because of the loss of a friend or loved one. And perhaps you're feeling broken by the world we live in, a world that is so filled with beauty and blessing, but that feels so increasingly filled with all those things I listed earlier: fear and hate, demeaning and dehumanizing language, divisiveness that separates the human family into us and them, rather than bringing people together to listen and learn and grow. I don't want to suggest that brokenness is simply a product of the times we live in. As Brian Stevenson says so well, being broken is what makes us human. Everyone has experienced pain and loss, sadness and sorrow, tragedy and struggle. Brokenness is truly part of our common humanity. And I don't think I'm going out on a limb and suggesting that every person in this room has experienced a moment, perhaps like the one Brian Stevenson shared in that reading. After speaking to yet another client whose life had been so broken and who was on the verge of being brutalized by an unjust and racist criminal justice system, Stevenson found himself emotionally overwhelmed with a wet face and a broken heart. For the first time, he came to see just how broken into pieces his own life had become and just how much he needed to be healed. I want to spend the rest of my time this morning talking about our shared brokenness and what we can do, at least to begin repairing our lives and our world, so that we can live in what Brian Stevenson calls our reciprocal humanity. And I think, as we heard when we talked to the kids, maybe a first step in the long journey in healing at least some of that brokenness can be found in one of my favorite stories from the Christian New Testament. One day, while traveling in a boat across the Sea of Galilee, Jesus and his disciples encounter a powerful storm. Their boat is tossed about violently, and fear and panic grip the disciples. Rachel's putting up on the screen now this very beautiful and famous painting by Rembrandt, which portrays this scene. It's a little blurry, and we'll have a close-up of it in a second. Meanwhile, as the disciples are getting really, really frightened, Jesus is in the back of the boat, fast asleep. As the storm worsens, the disciples grow increasingly afraid and cannot believe that Jesus has, how should I say this, completely checked out. finally, when they are certain that the boat is about to capsize, the disciples finally wake Jesus up, plead for his help, and ask if he doesn't care that they're all about to die. Now, according to the story, Jesus then calms the raging storm with three simple but transformational words. Peace, be still. Peace, be still. And as the wind ceases and the waters calm, Jesus turns to his disciples and questions why they are so afraid and have so little faith. By the way, Reverend Leah told me that the children are actually talking about this story as we speak in their children's worship this morning. Now, of course, we have no way of knowing what exactly happened in the moment or if Jesus and his disciples ever even got caught in a storm on the Sea of Galilee. But if they did, I'm guessing, using my imagination here, that maybe the miracle wasn't Jesus rewriting the laws of nature, but rather the miracle was his calm and soothing presence that stilled the storm in the hearts and minds of his disciples. I know this story speaks so powerfully to me because on so many days, especially these days, my heart feels as if it's in that storm-tossed boat. And like them, like the disciples, Jesus' simple words, peace, be still, peace, be still. Those words somehow help me to calm the storms inside my heart. They remind me to try to breathe, to let go of stress and anxiety, and to just give myself, even if it's for a moment, the gift of peace. Now, I think it's important to note, as we heard when Reverend Leah invited you all to call out ways that you deal with that knot in your stomach, if you don't mind me quoting you, Linda. There she is. There's no single right way or practice that one should follow in order to experience the healing gift of peace and stillness. What works for one may not work for another. Practices like we heard, meditation and prayer, can certainly be healing and calming. I think gatherings like our Vesper services that we recently held here in the church are another way to find our center and still those storms. What matters most is not which practice we utilize, but rather giving ourselves the time and space we need just to pause, to be, and to breathe. Whatever method or practice works best for you, the point is that when we slow down and find ways to still the storms in our hearts, the compassion that Brian Stevenson talks about, compassion for ourselves and compassion for others, that compassion can begin to take root. And it is that kind of compassion for self and for others that, in my view, holds the key to healing brokenness in our own lives, in our communities, in our relationships, and in the world. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that compassion doesn't feel very deeply embedded these days in our culture, or I'm sorry to say, even in much of religion. Think for a moment about the so-called American way, right? Which values rugged individualism, success and achievement, particularly economic success and achievement, and rewarding those who pull themselves up by their bootstraps while deeming those less fortunate and less privileged to be failures who are getting what they deserve. And then, I'm sorry to say, there's religion. While so many, perhaps most religious traditions affirm love and compassion as core values, too often, what I think many people experience is just the opposite. judgment, fear, and exclusion. Is it any wonder that so many turn their backs on religion and look elsewhere for love and healing when they are feeling broken? And yet compassion, as Brian Stevenson makes clear, offers that path. To be compassionate is to recognize both our own brokenness and the brokenness of others. Compassion literally means to suffer with. And having compassion involves, as one Buddhist teacher puts it, going inside our bodies, our feelings, and our mental formations, and rather than judging or condemning them, allowing ourselves to become deeply aware of our own brokenness and then also the brokenness of others. And when we are able to experience ourselves and others as we truly are, flawed, suffering sometimes, almost always in need of healing and wholeness, something truly extraordinary can begin to happen. We embrace our brokenness and the brokenness of others as an invitation to love and care rather than as reasons to judge or condemn. We see ourselves and others as we truly are, not who others judge or tell us we should be. And the more I reflect on Brian Stevenson's powerful words, the more I think maybe, just maybe, he has put his finger on the key to healing, or at least beginning to heal the stark and often bitter divisions that so often feel as if they are tearing our country and world apart. Think for a moment about just how divided we are and how much anger, how deep those divisions are. What would the world look like if rather than starting from a sense of moral superiority, I'm right and you're wrong, or demonizing and othering people, demonizing those we disagree with, what if instead we began by assuming, as Stevenson does, that each and every person is broken, that the lives of those with whom we differ are also in pieces, just as we are. And if we began to see that we are all broken together, maybe, just maybe, we could begin to extend compassion to all. And when we extend that compassion, we cannot help but turn it into action. That action might be as simple as finding one thing every day to appreciate about ourselves or another. It might be offering a kind word to someone from whom we have become distant because of pain we have caused them or that they have caused us. And compassion might lead us to move beyond our own comfort zones to courageously confront privilege and our discomfort and the injustices so that we can act for justice and peace for all people and the planet. And it is the power of compassion to heal our brokenness that leads me back to the title of my sermon today, Broken Together. You see, in the midst of all the turmoil, the hurt, the tension, and all the brokenness we encounter and experience, the one thing we can count on, the one thing that can help us begin to heal our broken places, and I believe this with all my heart, is each other. The simple truth is we are not alone in our brokenness. We don't have to pull ourselves up by our emotional bootstraps or maintain a stiff upper lip. While we Unitarian Universalists often have far more questions than answers and as much uncertainty as certainty, there is one thing we know. There is in this world love, kindness, and compassion. No matter how broken our lives become, we have each other. I can't tell you how many times my life has been pieced back together by the compassionate words and deeds of others. In those moments when my spirits have been especially low, the love and support of family, friends, colleagues, congregants have helped still the storms in my heart and put me on that path to healing and hope. Before closing, I want to say a word about our church community. I don't think I'm alone in observing that, like many of us as individuals, religious communities are experiencing much the same brokenness that we are feeling in our own lives and in the world. We are still making our way back from a terrible pandemic, and many in this congregation are still dealing with the trauma of the Unite the Right violence in 2017. But as we continue to heal, we can take comfort in knowing that we are doing important work in this congregation and in the wider world. Work that is guided by the same kind of compassion Brian Stevenson talked about. But what makes me so proud to be your minister, and what makes me so hopeful about the future, is that we are ready to do the work of love and justice, compassion and peace. If you haven't read our long-range plan yet, take a look at it. It's on the website. It's ambitious, challenges us to be bold and courageous, compassionate and just. Of course, we have a long way to go and a lot more growing and healing ahead of us. But we are in this together. We are one beloved community, and we most certainly have the shelter and the inspiration of each other. So let me conclude by just recalling Brian Stevenson's beautiful, beautiful words. There's no wholeness outside our reciprocal humanity. Reciprocal humanity. That's what the world needs. That's what it feels like we're lacking in our communities, in our country, in the Middle East. Whatever happened to the reciprocal humanity? Just think what a world it would be if the human family could finally live as if reciprocal humanity was a fact, not an ideal. So many who come through our doors are seeking community and healing, a community that journeys with us through the joys and sorrows of life, and that helps heal those places in our lives and in the world that are broken. One church can't heal or repair the world, but this is a place where we can come together, where we can offer one another a kind word, a hug of support, where we can always know that no matter what we are going through in this life, we are not going through it alone. And knowing that we are not alone is the first and most important step on the journey to healing, to wholeness, and to peace for ourselves and for the world. Amen. Thank you for listening, and blessed be. As our choir comes forward, come on up to offer a choral benediction. And as Angela extinguishes our chalice, I want to leave you with some wonderful closing words by someone who is actually here in the room today, which is, I don't think I've ever offered a benediction with the author sitting in the pews, but our own Wayne Arneson has written some of the best closing benedictory words in all of Unitarian Universalism, and they're so fitting for today's service. Also, before I offer those words, Alex is going to offer a postlude after the choir sings this benediction. If those of you have experienced Alex's music, you might want to hang around. He's quite an amazing player. So here are Wayne's beautiful, beautiful words. Take courage, friends. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very, very high. Take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone.